As you may already know, a major renovation is taking place at the Shelby Branch of the Indianapolis Public Library at 2502 Shelby Street. The Shelby Branch, soon to be known as the Garfield Park Branch. Today we're going to give you a little taste of an update of the construction activity and a walkthrough of some of the major components of this construction or renovation project. And Mike Coghlan, facilities manager for the library, is with us to walk us through some of this. Mike, welcome. Where do we stand with the renovation project? What is happening at the Shelby Branch?
Well, a lot has happened. Through a generous gift of a donor, we were able to do a significant renovation to the building itself, as well as some of the grounds. Being in the park, we've decided to try to incorporate as many green components into the building and also into the site work. So a couple of things that are happening in the site work will be the expansion of our bike parking. Good. Shelby Street is on the new bike route, so going all the way from Fountain Square all the way down to Southport, there'll be a bike route going all the way up and down Shelby Street. You can see it's been nicely repaved.
Yes.
So we're increasing our bike parking. We're also working with Indigo on expanding the bus stop, because we do see a significant amount of traffic through the bus.
Okay.
Other site work things we're doing are rainwater collection with rain barrels, composting. We're going to incorporate gardens, new gardens. We're going to have a new storytelling garden just for the kids and for adults for reading. That'll go off over here on the side between our parking lot and the building.
And this is part of the Green Library in the Park concept, which people will start hearing more about.
Oh, absolutely.
And these things, just the beginning, but eventually this branch, the Garfield Park Branch, as it will soon be known, will become a real catalyst for educational activity, showcasing what can be done environmentally and so forth, correct?
That was the big idea. When we received the gift to do the remodel and the renovation, it was very utilitarian at the very beginning to add more computers and to renovate the bathrooms to make them accessible and to improve the workflow. But as the project continued to grow, the opportunities were evident for energy conservation as well as education components that we can use for families, kids, adults. Groups of all sorts can come and learn things that you can do, because the building, I mean, it's only a little over 6,000 square feet, so it's not a really big building. It doesn't have a lot of the big systems that other buildings have. It has, in essence, some large residential components.
Okay.
So things that you could take and do at your house. Before we go inside, I wanted to point out the dormer that we've added to the east side of the building. It was an idea from our architect, Axis Architecture, as a way to add additional light, natural light, into the building, and you'll be able to see it inside. The actual construction of it, Sten's Construction Corporation was our contractor for the techniques of actually trying to fish in additional support structures. It was an amazing adventure for them. And then our other designer is Mater Design, who was our landscape architect. And they've done a great job working with us as well as Garfield Park to come up with a cohesive design. Well, John, the project started with a request from the community to increase public computer access. Okay. So that's what started this whole project. We have created a computer lab in the back that will have 21 public access computers. Plus we'll update the work surfaces here for patrons to have wireless access as well as PowerPoint, so they can plug in their laptops. Fantastic. Or tablets as we move towards tablets. So that's the beginning, and that's what you'll see when you first come in, is to be able to see the computer lab right away. There were two of our branches that were not accessible to individuals with mobility issues. And so with this project here, we'll now have fully accessible restrooms. So that's not very glamorous, but it really is a step forward. It's been something that has been continually pushed off.
Okay.
So it's nice to be able to say that we have yet another building. We're now down to just one building that is not accessible.
So a lot of these improvements obviously will help patrons use the library and increase their ability to use computers, reading areas, and so forth. But a lot of the improvements, not only just aesthetic improvements, but things that can be done environmentally to improve the efficiency of the branch.
Right. That's very true. We are, even though the computer labs were the starting point, we understood that we still have a significant need for reading materials and educational materials and entertainment materials. So we're able to reorganize the collection and bring in appropriate shelving to allow better access to our collection. We're also bringing in some seating for comfortable seating for reading, as well as increasing the number of study tables, because we do see that there's a lot of men and women and kids who use the library for study. So it's trying to meet that specific need, those specific needs, plural, in our community. So in terms of green library,
yes,
probably the one that most people will recognize right away is the bringing in more natural light. And we've installed a dormer in the roof that faces off to the east to gather east light. And as you can see now, it has the plastic visqueen over it. But the idea is that we'll be able in the early mornings to get direct light in, but then during the afternoon it will get all that, just the skylight that comes in. And you can tell just the times, even with the visqueen in here, the daylighting in here is much more pleasant. The building was built at a time when we had very small windows, so it's always been a comment that you'd love to add more windows. And it really, with the way that it's set up with the collection, adding windows really wasn't a really viable option.
Okay.
So bringing in a dormer window like this allows us to really open up the space and add light. And a byproduct will be, it'll help keep the library a little quieter by having a space up above that the sound can go and bounce around and dissipate. So.
Now with the natural light, that's one thing being done in the green sense, but I know with a lot of our branches, we're involved in some energy conservation projects. What will happen here at the Shelby, soon to be Garfield Park Branch, that will help in terms of heating and cooling?
Well, things that you really can't see, but we're going to bring in control systems for the boiler and the mechanical systems. So we'll be able to track temperatures and trend information and be able to modulate the amount of energy we're using so that we're not overheating and then letting the building get cool and then overheat. We're able to just sort of, it's kind of like driving your car at 40 miles an hour. There's a spot on every piece of equipment that if you get the most efficiency out of it. And that's by having controls that you can actually get real-time feedback on. We can find and get the equipment to serve the building in the most efficient way.
Okay, this is the renovation project at the Shelby Branch, soon to be the Garfield Park Branch. The opening is going to be early in November, so stay tuned for information on that big event. Until then, however, library services will continue to be provided in a temporary facility. That's going well, that's worked out well, but patrons can still use this branch in addition to the computer services that patrons normally would use here now are available at the Fountain Square branch. So those will continue almost up until the grand opening date, correct?
That is true. The two separate components, the temporary library, it's in a construction trailer that's on the grounds, and it's open the same normal hours as the library was before, so it's 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. It's a point for returning materials and picking up holds. We are seeing about 400 items a day being checked out of there, which is, it's significantly less than the branch typically serves, but it means that people are using it.
This has to be thrilling for you to be overseeing a green project and to see the services enhanced for citizens here in this area.
Oh, absolutely, but it's just one of the many projects that the library has undertaken over the past 4 years to increase the energy efficiency of our facilities. This is just one of 23 facilities that we have. So.
Okay. Well, stay tuned for more. Check our website and Between the Lines for information on the grand opening in early November at the, let's say it, Garfield Park Branch
Library
of the Indianapolis Public Library.